Ready? Here we go to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back. We're going to go right back into our program. Our special guest today, special co-host is?
Luther Keith with Arise Detroit, and I'm honored to be here.
All right. Luther, who do you have on the right of you?
This is Yvonne Rucker, who has an organization known as Bike Vine. She is a biking enthusiast, has a lot of energy, a lot of hope, and I met her last year, and it's funny because we met at another event. She didn't know me, and I
Hey, you
didn't
know what? I'm sorry. Start over.
All right, welcome
3,
back.
2, 1, action.
Welcome back to the Community Shield Restored. And we have a tremendous guest here today. We have a tremendous co-host with us here today. Tell us.
Luther Keith with Arise Detroit, and I appreciate the word tremendous. Thank you.
Luther, who do you have on the right of you? Tell us who you have.
I have Yvonne Rucker, who is a dynamic woman with lots of hope, a biking enthusiast who has her own organization called Bike Vine, Bike V-O-N, off the word Vine, I presume.
Yeah.
So she has a lot of hope.
She has tons of hope. She
Okay.
has tons of hope.
Can you share some of that hope with the people out in TV land, what you have?
I have-
Because we got folks out there that need hope. We got a lot that do have hope, but we got some out there looking to get hope.
I have so much hope
Okay.
that I drive 72 miles to pick up kids to Detroit to give them an opportunity to cycle.
Oh yeah, that's hope.
And not only that, she has a vision for creating a Olympic velodrome here in Detroit. And the reason how I met Yvonne, I didn't know her, she didn't know me. We were at an event, and Yvonne, being a very assertive person, got right in my face and said, I want to talk to you. I'm doing this thing with a bike, and you need to know about it. When can we meet? When can we talk? Here's my car. Give me your car, and let's meet and figure it out. And so last year she participated in Neighbors Day for the first time, but this year she did something really unique by doing a bike ride across the city of Detroit with 15 or 20 bikers at designated sites. And as you know, one of our local papers had a big story about this fascination with biking. And you know, with a lot of health great things, but it's become this almost like fad. But Yvonne wants to take it deeper than just riding around the city. While that's important, to help it to elevate and offer opportunity for our young people. So first, Yvonne, before we get to your larger vision, talk about Neighborhoods Day bike ride, how it started, how you envisioned it, how it turned out, what you learned, the reaction of the people with it, where did you go? Just give us a sketch that out for us, if you would.
Well, you know, Luther, I participated last year and we did something, you know, just in the neighborhood.
Right.
And Luther contacted me for this year and he said, let's just do something different and special. So actually from your encouragement, he kind of, you know, wrapped it up for me. He said, you know, let's get a bike ride going, okay? And so, okay, I pulled my resources together and that's what we tried to do. Now, he misspoke himself. He said around the city. Well, we concentrated on the east side, okay? And with cycling, they always say, you don't know what kind of gem you have, you know, until you see it from cycling, okay? So we started at Gratiot Splash, and we went all the way to right past Alter. Actually, we came out on the first couple of streets in Grosse Pointe.
Alter Road.
Alter
For those
Road.
of who don't know, where is the Gratiot Splash?
Gratiot Splash is actually down on near Gratiot and Werner. And to the cyclists right now, it has special meaning because that's the proposed site of the new velodrome that we'd like to build. But before I explain to that, on our bikes today, we did a 23-mile ride and we saw some specifics, but what was really very touching to me is the hope, Pastor, that I saw out there. Because on our bikes, there were not only the particular stops that we wanted to make, But I mean, at different places, there were people either partying or cleaning up, you know, or standing there, hi, how you doing? There was a celebration and it was infectious out there. It was infectious. And,
Did that surprise you? Or surprise the cyclists?
yes, and I'm gonna say it even surprised me, because this is my second time, but last year, I was just at Don Bosco.
Okay.
So I was just at that location. This surprised me because, and I'm glad you talked me into doing this, because in cycling around and everything, I saw how big this whole thing is, you know, and as I said, it was extremely infectious everywhere I'm looking, and it was the little places that don't get the attention, you know, I mean, they were, you know, cutting grass and, you know, picking up garbage and everything, okay? And as I said, I went to a couple with the bouncy houses, and it was just open, welcoming, and people were celebrating, and I loved it.
Wow, that is, I got this. I'm so glad to hear that. I am so glad to hear that, because that's kind of like been the thing that I have not, my frustration to some extent is lessened. So, but I said, if you get really exposed to this, if you really get to understand what's happening in our neighborhoods on this day, you cannot be moved by it.
No.
And your experience is a great testament to that. And I am so thrilled that, because sometimes you have an idea and it's just a bad idea, you know? And I've had more than my share. But you took the ball and you ran with it and you made it happen. And I'm just thrilled that you did that, and something that we can build on for the future. So,
Yes, you know, and actually I'm gonna put a pitch out here for, Luther and I have kind of discussed for the 10th anniversary, we want to do this again. So, okay, everyone, we got the blueprint kind of on the table, and I'm gonna put it out there to people. Next year for Luther's 10th, I'd really like to get a lot of cycling groups together, and I'd like for us to be able to do this in more neighborhoods. Because as you say, I couldn't appreciate this from a perspective of being at one place,
right.
okay? And I think having cyclists, you see the world differently
Yeah.
from a bike,
Right,
okay?
right.
And I think having cyclists going around this city would just actually generate some excitement.
Yes.
So you and I are gonna have to work on that. For your
Okay.
10th, we wanna do this,
Well,
okay?
How far do you all ride?
Well, today we rode about 23 miles.
Wow, 23 miles.
But let me stop you. Well, let me stop right there. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop right there. Detroit is 149 square miles. It is a huge city. Is it? Matter of fact, when I first she asked me to write her up a little preliminary draft of the routes, and I'm not a biker, I don't know, but I had her starting at the Grassley Splash and finishing way over by Grand River and Lhasa. She said, Luke, I made a few changes.
That's why we're gonna have to do it next year. There's like no way that we're gonna have to do that.
I said, I don't know how many miles you do this thing, but I want you to see the city.
You know what? I'll put this out here for people. I am a centrist cyclist, which means that I will ride 100 miles at a time. So I can be on my bike some days from 6 to 8 hours, okay? But there's no way that I can take, you know, regular social cyclists, you know, or your slow rollers or that kind, you know, on a ride. But we're gonna.
Well, let me ask you this question. You know, we had a big story in one of our local papers about biking, and I've seen bikers now all the time. It seems like, man,
Yes,
everywhere, all of a
yes,
sudden.
yes.
Why now has Detroit become this hotbed of cycling? What's the impetus for this?
I would say I would give it to credit it with two things. Number one, slow roll. Okay.
What is slow roll?
Slow roll is these group of people with Mark McCoo and Jason Hall. And every Monday, they get out, hundreds of people, and they ride slowly through the neighborhood. You know, they're no fast pace, you know, they encourage helmets and things like that, but it's just people getting together, riding around, seeing Detroit. And there's another thing you spoke of, Mr. James Ribbon, you spoke of Detroit Future City which is also working with Detroit Greenway. And, you know, we are putting in 26 miles of new bike lanes throughout the city.
Oh.
Connecting everything together, okay? Then you also have the thing that many employers right now are giving rebates for healthy people, okay? And biking is one of the easiest things that you can do, and it doesn't, you know, it's not jarring like, you know, jogging or anything. There's not a large financial commitment unless you're a century cyclist, you know. But, you know, so it's, and how many of you learned how to ride as a child? Everybody.
Right.
Okay, so it's not this great learning curve, okay? And it's just how society is going, and as I said, Detroit is doing such a great job in taking up, you know, different areas. We have that railroad track down in a particular area that Detroit Future City and Detroit Greenway are working to buy. I mean, Quinder Cut was just an empty railroad track, and look what they
Well,
did.
let me ask you, so I'm gonna ask maybe an impolitic question. But in Detroit, we're hung up on this Detroit and that Detroit. We all know what we're talking about. Those, our people and those people. I think sometimes when you look at some of the slow rollers, you get the perception of those are quote, those people, and that's not something that we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
How would you, what do you say to that perception, for people who have that perception? I don't know if it's real or it's just being fostered in the dynamic of Detroit coming back and all the rest of it.
I would say that, yeah, some people look at it as it's not something that we do, but also I know that there is a growing population of people of color getting into cycling on a more elite level, okay? And that's even why I am trying to promote velodrome cycling. Velodrome cycling is the Olympic sport, okay? Where you have a track, maybe an eighth of a mile. It has 45-degree angles. Your feet are clipped in. There's no brakes and there's no gears, okay? If you stop pedaling, you fall, okay? I have about 7 kids into that sport. We have only had 2 men of color historically to achieve anything in that sport. And that is in 1899, Major Marshall Taylor, and then in 1984, Nelson Vales won a silver Olympic medal, okay? Youth of color don't know about this. Youth of color do not know about this sport because it's such an expensive sport, okay? And you were saying, we don't do this, we don't do that. Just a minute ago, you said to remove can't from the vocabulary.
Right.
That's why I drive 72 miles to
Amen.
pick up kids.
Now, are you just cycling once a year on Neighborhoods Day or throughout the summer? or
You
how
know,
does that
Mr. Ribbon and I talked about this when I came in, and he was sharing his passion, what he's going to do when he gets a chance to grow up. And, no, cycling is my passion, okay? I live, breathe, and eat cycling, okay? I'm not an outdoor cyclist all year round, okay? I've gotten to that point where if it's 40 degrees, I'm okay being on the inside, all right? But I'll spin. But no, cycling is, I'm extremely passionate about it, and right now I'm extremely passionate about getting our kids a scholarship opportunity that is totally unavailable to them. Do you know that there are colleges that give scholarships to kids who perform outstanding by riding a bike?
Wow.
Okay.
Well, how can they get in contact with you? We got people looking at this show and they want to get in contact with you and want to be trained. So you train people to cycle too? You train
Yes, we train them, you know, and right now I have to take them out to Rochester Hills because that's the only track in here. Now, there are only 29 velodrome tracks in the whole world. Only 29 across 22 cities. Right now, we have an investor who actually wants to build a track right down at Gratiot Splash.
Wow.
Okay, he wants to build a track down there.
Wow.
And it's going through, you know, communities, and it's going through the zoning and everything, and we are actually crossing our fingers that this will come about, because it's right down there with the Quinder Cut, you know, Riverfront, all that kind of stuff. They can leave from there, do the 26 miles, you know, around that the city's building in bike paths. And I mean, like I said, this is a future I want to offer youth of color. We've got to think out of the box. We can't keep sitting there saying can't, okay? We have to think out of the box. As a community, we can't say, oh no, we don't want that unsightly thing there. No, come on now. Think about it this way. We're talking about gems and jewels. There are only 29 velodromes in the United States, across 22 states. Why would we, I mean, come on, let's put Detroit down as one state. Can we do that? Okay? So if you want to contact me to help with transportation, remember 72 miles I drive, you can contact me at BikeVon, BikeVon 14 at gmail.com, or you can even call me. And my number is only nice calls, okay? You got anything negative, just pray on it, all right? You can call me at 248-225-0601. And like I said, my mission is to open the world of cycling for youth of color. That's my passion.
It's pretty, I'm not sure if I want to do the velodrome thing, but I do believe that, again, thinking outside the box is an opportunity for something that can offer something great for the future of our young people. And it starts with, you know, visionaries. I mean, visionaries, most visionaries, many times they're thought of as a little kooky, a little crazy. I'm not saying that's fine for you. But, you know, you're thinking differently from other people.
Yes.
And I know James Ribron will agree with me. Part of what Detroit Future City wants folks to do about Detroit's future is to think a little differently. Not do the same old thing the same way. Because whenever we that city that we were, we're creating a new Detroit, and I mean that in the best sense of the word, that creates new possibilities and new changes. So we look back on 2015 and, you know, 2016, 2017 and say, oh yeah, there's this woman named Yvonne Rucker, and she just had this thing, and yeah, oh yeah, that Olympic cyclist from Detroit trained on that velodrome that this woman advocated for years ago. Oh really? And so we'll wind that clock back, and you'll be Yvonne Rucker.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me say right quickly, you know, we're talking about thinking outside of the box. And, you know, sometimes we get stuck about cities and suburbanites and everything, and we want to draw that line along 8 Mile.
Right.
Okay, we want to dig it in. And sure, the track is in Rochester Hills, but we got the power to bring it in Detroit. Okay, if we got to do it to give our kids the opportunity, why not? Why not? Okay, look of our population. Okay, why can't our kids have that? And whatever has to be done, whatever machinations have to be done, why can't we do it? You know, let's put Detroit's name when they list the velodromes. But not only that, I want to be able to stand there and smile when the first child of color actually goes to nationals or goes to a college on a cycling scholarship. Why do they have to have a basketball, football, baseball, soccer ball? Why? Economics? Yes, economics. You can give a ball to 12 kids, okay? But if we have supporters who are willing to build things in our city and invest in our kids, let's help them.
Well, you know, we all have ample examples of barriers being broken. We just had the example of the African American, was it ballet?
Yes,
Young lady.
the young lady.
Who got the biggest assignment with the ballet company. So history, I often say, is is the story of the impossible until it's made possible.
Exactly,
So why not make this one of those?
yes, and they need your help, they need your help.
All right. You know, what a show today, and, I just commend you for what you're doing, 72. You didn't drive 72 miles by bike, did you?
No, I pick up the kids, and it's a 72-mile one-way trip to get the
One way.
kids, pick them up, and to get them out to the velodrome. And I do this 4 days a week.
So
Gas, my gas, my time.
144 miles round trip.
Yes.
Wow. I
Yes.
salute you. From Arise Detroit, the people are just doing outstanding work with Arise Detroit. You know, they bring their heart, they bring their soul. I done brought folks that's working in the community. They done went in their pensions. I done brought people right on the show. They done went in their pensions to keep their block club restored and keep their block club moving forward. I've seen some determined, tenacious people that's working out there in the community. And also, I've seen many with Arise Detroit too. Some determined, tenacious people just doing an incredible work. And we just thank God today for all of our special guests that's doing a great work in the community and doing an outstanding job, just making things happen and just bringing their hearts and bringing their soul. I'm Prophet Cedric Banks. I'm your host, along with
Prophetess Donetta Banks.
and we'll see you next Sunday right here on Comcast TV 20. The community shall be restored.
Great, great.
Outstanding.
Thank you, thank
All right,
you.
all right, thank you, Prophet. Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Mhm.